So, what are the pros and cons to the shared ownership scheme? In this video, I'll go through that for you. My name's Dan and I'm a CeMAP qualified mortgage professional. This video is purely educational and is not advice, and I must stress your home may be repossessed if you don't keep up with the repayments on the mortgage. With that out of the way, on with the video. Firstly, what is the shared ownership scheme? The shared ownership scheme was created back in the 1970s as a solution for affordable housing. It's where you purchase a property from the housing association and the minimum share you purchase is 25%, and later on you can what's called staircase and you can basically buy more of the property. You should be able to qualify for shared ownership scheme if you are 18 years or older, or you have a joint income of £80,000 or less, and that's £90,000 if you live in London. You don't own your own home, or you're in the process of selling your existing property, because you can only have one property on the shared ownership scheme. You're not in mortgage or rent arrears, okay? And it's really only suitable for people who cannot afford the property that meets their needs via a traditional method. So that's really when you would look at taking a shared ownership scheme. Stick around to the end of the video to see the disadvantages of the shared ownership scheme. So on with the positives. So first positive, it's a really great way to get on the housing ladder if you don't have a big deposit. To go through the sort of the traditional mortgage method, you'd need 5-10% of the overall property value, but with shared ownership, you only need 5 or 10% sort of deposit on the part that you're buying. So if the property was worth, say, £100,000 and you're buying 25% of that, that's £25,000. So you only need the deposit for the £25,000 rather than the £100,000. So it's a great way if you struggle to save. It's a great way of getting on the property ladder. As your income goes up or your situation changes, you're able to save more money. You're actually able to do what's called staircasing. And what staircasing is where you actually buy more of the property later down the line. So you could buy another 25% share. So you now own 50% of the property and a housing association owns the other 50% of the property. And you can staircase up to 100% with some mortgage lenders and housing associations. So you'll eventually own 100% of your property. Another great thing about shared ownership properties is it's not just available to new build. So you can purchase new build property, but you can also purchase a property that's 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. So your market really isn't restricted. The first disadvantage, as I've mentioned previously, is you won't own 100% of your property. So if you buy 25% of the property to start off with, you will effectively be paying rent to the housing association for that other 75%. Okay, so something you need to check out is how much rent you'll be paying on that other portion of the property that you won't be owning, and also how much is the ground rent and how much is the service charge, because sometimes these can be a little bit costly. The other disadvantage is you're restricted to shared ownership properties only. What I mean by this is not every property that you see out there in the estate agents' websites are shared ownership. They're not owned by housing associations. So it depends on the location of where you're looking to move. If you're living in an area and there are no shared ownership properties, you may actually have to change the area you're living in order to basically purchase one of these properties. So it may not necessarily work out for you. There is really sort of 5 things that you should be aware of when purchasing shared ownership property. Firstly, find out how much is the ground rent and the service charge. Also, find out how much is the rent on the rental element of your property. You also need to find out what is the maximum that you can staircase to. So how much of the property can you own? Can you only own up to 75%? Is it 80? Is it 100%? That would be probably quite important to you. The other thing you should check for is make sure your mortgage lender you're applying to actually allows shared ownership. You need to mention that up front to them that you're purchasing a shared ownership property. The good news is most high street lenders, they will have a shared ownership product that's going to be available for you, but you need to mention this up front because it may or may not be a different rate. And lastly, from the Housing Association, get the memorandum of sale and also get the shared ownership papers, okay? Hopefully that's helpful. Please put in the comments below, are you applying for a shared ownership mortgage or have you applied for a shared ownership mortgage? Also, please make sure you like or dislike this video, whether it was good or it was bad. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It just helps me grow the channel and bring these helpful videos to you. If you want to watch a video on how parents can help you get on the property ladder, please watch this video. And if you want to watch a video on my opinions of why I don't like the Help to Buy scheme, please watch this video. And also don't forget to subscribe, and there's a bell icon that you can click on and it will notify you of any future videos that I release.